Flight Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.
Flight Sports TV, that's where it's at.
Flight Sports TV.
What's going on, people? It's Flight Sports TV. I appreciate y'all for checking with me. You already know what it is. We back with another one of them things. Listen, shout out to all y'all in the chat. We're going to be breaking down fourth quarter action, some post-game play. You already know what it is. It's Flight Sports. We got the Los Angeles Lakers, taking on the Chicago Bulls. Obviously, we want to see what's going on with Lonzo. We're going to be breaking down a lot of different things tonight. Make sure you buckle up. We got a lot of Flight Sports news. It's crazy right now. It's just a lot of there's a lot of things percolating, in the sports world right now. Obviously with LeBron, you got situations going on right now with Stephen A. Smith. We're gonna be discussing. It seems like it's a never-ending saga that's ensuing right now. King James and the Los Angeles Lakers, they're getting ready for the playoffs. The honeymoon period for this whole Luka Doncic wave seems to calm down a bit. And it's like everybody's home. So let's pull up this game as we head into the fourth quarter. The Lakers are, I would say, they're in the driver's seat. I think that's a safe way to say it. But shout out to Chicago. We back with it. LeBron is on the floor. You got Josh Giddy out there. You got Jared Vanderbilt, Kevin Huerter. You got Reeves picking up Huerter. You got LeBron James picking up Collins. Collins going to the cup. You got Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter kicks it out. Here comes Giddy. Kobe White shoots it, and it's good. Big time three ball from the Chicago Bulls. They're not looking to die. It's 81-96. We got a dead ball right now. Shout out to the Lakers, man. Nobody's seen this coming from LA. Who the hell would have thought that the Los Angeles Lakers would be this competitive this season? I know everybody thought it was going to be crazy. Shout out to my man Sky, NO in the house. He was saying that Zion was going to get traded. Hey, man, we're going to figure all that out. We're gonna find out for you. Shout out my man Sky. Zoe is definitely still in the league. Just hold your horses. We got LeBron James at the line right now as we speak. It's 96-81. LeBron is shooting his first free throws for the night, surprisingly, and the first one is off. LeBron James always had his little woes at the free throw line. Shout out Will Stumbling, 45. We said, what's good, family? Shout out to all y'all, man. You already know what it is. LeBron James was second free throw, and that's money. It's 97-81, 9:30 to go in the fourth quarter. Here comes Kobe White. LeBron got 15, 4 rebounds, and 9 assists. Here comes Kobe. He kicks it out to Kevin Huerter. Josh Giddy picked up by LeBron. LeBron is on Giddy. LeBron makes the switch. They sent in a double on Kobe White. Kobe White was doubled, but he was fouled. LeBron James is appalled. He's looking for answers. Shout out to Will Stumbling. He says, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Yes, the Los Angeles Lakers pay the utmost homage to the Lakers, man. We have to. Nobody's seen this coming. Everybody was laughing about Bronny James, and still, despite all of that, they're fourth in the West. We know this the wild, wild West. In an hour, you could go from second to seventh. So the Lakers know that. They're 44-28. Every game is crucial. If you the Chicago Bulls, I mean, hell, we're in the midst of a commercial break right now. The Bulls, they're 10th right now in the East. They almost in a can't lose situation. I feel like, um, no, pardon me, I mistake them. Yeah, they're 32-40. They're ninth right now in the East. So I think they're in the can't lose because you got Miami in 10th at 31-41, and then you got the Toronto Raptors, 26 wins, 47 losses. I just don't. I feel like Toronto is just way out the mix, and I think the play-in seedings and everything is pretty much locked in. For the East is all about where they're going to be placed, but Chicago should be in the play-in. I would be shocked if anything went left. My Celtics winning the championship. We're gonna find out. I don't know. I would hop on StreamYard, but I'm getting of a. Oh, so shout out to World Stumbling, man. Get yourself together. It's 97-81 right now. Big time basketball action. Of course, we would have loved to see Lonzo Ball, but we just gotta hold our horses. Pray for the best for him. That's all we can really say. Last time I heard Lonzo, they was looking for Lonzo to come back. Let me see against this game against Portland. So we going towards the tail end of the season. The goal, Lonzo looks he should be there for the play-in. I would be hard pressed not to believe, and it looks like LaMelo probably will be out, maybe for the rest of the year. I don't really see the reason for even LaMelo playing. We are, like I said, we headed in towards the tail end. It ain't nothing but what, maybe 10 something games left, for these teams. So we getting the money time right about now, y'all. And we're gonna find out what these teams are truly made of. I want to see the Lakers. As of right now, they would be playing Memphis in the first round. We don't. What's going on with Ja? Ja's in and out. The Lakers, I like that matchup, but the Lakers, they very well could move up. You got look at Houston. Houston 47-26. You got teams that's just like, what in the world? But I like some of these teams' chances. If Golden State match up against Houston, like, come on, I got Golden State. The Thunder, to me, I think they're gonna be a tough out for whoever. Minnesota, Golden State, all of them. I think I ain't gonna sleep on OKC. We back with it. Kevin Huerter is out there putting in work. It's 97-84. 9 minutes to go in the fourth. 15 points for Huerter. Here we go. LeBron James picked up by Josh Giddy that kicks it out to Austin Reeves. Back to LeBron James. LeBron James kicks it out to Dalton Connect for three. That's off. Rebounded by Josh Giddy. Here comes Kobe White. Kobe White picked up. Kobe White all the way to the cup, and he loses the ball. He was able to find Giddy. They kick it out. Giddy for three, and it's off. Rebounded by Dalton Connect. Here comes LeBron James. What in the world's going on? There's a lot of indecisiveness going on here. It looked like it was a turnover here. What's going on with that's crazy. The Lakers got to get it together. Goodwin looked like he just made a terrible mistake here. What happened? Man, I don't know what that call was about. It's 8:31 right now. Fourth quarter action. Los Angeles Lakers versus the Chicago Bulls. Yes. Here we go. We got Kobe White. Kobe White picked up by Goodwin. Kobe White all the way to the cup, and he scores it in traffic looking for the foul. He's fired up. It's 86-97. Chicago said they're not ready to lay down right now. Here we go. Austin Reeves. Reeves putting the moves on. Reeves screen. Reeves in the mid-range. They kick it to LeBron. LeBron, top of the key, three ball, off. Rebounded by Kevin Huerter. Here comes Kobe White. Kobe White crossing half court. Kobe White pull up three ball. Cash money. Chicago forces the Los Angeles Lakers to take a timeout with that shot. That was a big time three ball from Kobe White. I told you, he is fired up. He has cut the lead to single digits. The Chicago Bulls is about to make a run at this thing, goddammit. Do not sleep on Chicago at all. You know, a lot of people feel like Chicago not this, they're not that. They will be in the play-in for the Eastern Conference. So they did something right this year. You know, I ain't gonna say they did it all right, but they one of the competitive teams. You know, they're gonna make the play-in. It is what it is. Will Stumbler says he's an underrated little guard. A lot of people thought that Kobe White may get traded or whatever, but I like Kobe White. You know, Chicago been through a lot of different things. You know, they lost a lot of players. I think you hold on to Kobe. You know, let's see what Kobe White can, you know, blossom into. Is he a number one option? Absolutely not. You know, but I think he could do some smart things out there. He could lead. You got a lot of young people out there too for Chicago. So you got to have people who want the ball and they want to put the ball in the goddamn hole. So Kobe White, he does that for Chicago. You know, dealing with injuries, they lost their number one option. Um, it's a mess right now. Um, but let's get to it. Kobe White, 19 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists. Josh Giddy tonight, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. He flirted with Miss Triple Dub. Shout out to Josh Giddy. Monta Buzelis. Montez, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. Herder, 15 points. Zach Collins coming off the bench with 10 big buckets. Luka Doncic tonight flirting with Miss Triple Dub. 21 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Give major props to him. You know, that calf injury, you know, it's looking like he want to put that behind him. A lot of people thought that Luka was going to hit the ground rolling, which I think he did. But remember, he was coming back from an injury. He was traded while he was sidelined with an injury. So I think we haven't seen really the best of Luka Doncic. Just be patient, ladies and gentlemen. Be patient. But we coming back from commercial break. Kobe White is hot as ever right now. He's hot as fish grease. It's 97 to 89. Chicago is trying to scratch and claw back in this 7:58 to go in the fourth quarter. Who will prevail in this matchup? You know, it's going to be hard pressed when you got LeBron and Luka out there playing like this. You got Reeves providing that backup. I mean, I think Reeves should probably win Most Improved or something. I mean, seriously. You know, give credit to Austin Reeves. Lakers got to pick it up. Chicago has already got 14 points in the fourth quarter to the Lakers 6. So we almost damn near halfway through. Here we go. Here comes Reeves for LA. Luka has it. Luka screen and roll. Luka Doncic kicks it to LeBron James. LeBron pump fakes the three. LeBron James kicks it out. Here comes Reeves. Reeves corner three ball off. Rebounded by Josh Giddy. Josh Giddy picking it up with pace. Josh Giddy to Kobe White for three. Cash. You are back-to-back threes for Kobe White. I told you this man was hot as fish grease. It's 92-97. Chicago is getting back in this game. Here we go. The Los Angeles Lakers. It says Kobe White made 200 threes made this season. That's epic. LeBron tried to answer with a three, and he didn't get it. But we got a loose ball foul here on Chicago, it looks like. Giddy is just lost for words. He don't understand what the hell just happened. But we got to give props to Kobe White. I told you, this guy is a veteran. You know, you got these young players and Buzelis and these guys. You know, you want to have a guy who could, you know, take the mantle. And that's what Kobe White is doing. Kobe White has it. Here we go. The Lakers just scored to his 99-92. Here we go. Giddy in the mid-range operating. Giddy all the way to the cup. But we got what in the world? It's called the offensive foul on Zach Collins. So we got a terrible mistake here from Chicago. What in the world just happened? He just pushed the heck out of Jackson Hayes. You know, I don't know what the hell that was about. But nonetheless, it's 6:50 to go. Here we go. Austin Reeves crossing half court. Reeves putting the moves on. Reeves dumps it out to Luka. Luka operating on Josh Giddy. He dumps it out to LeBron. LeBron posts up, kicks it out to Reeves. Corner three ball, Cash. Here we go. It's 102-92. The Lakers push the lead back to 10. They putting Chicago back on the ropes. Can Kobe White answer? You know he's looking for a three. Kobe White all the way to the cup, and it's good, but they called the offensive foul. Kobe White. He did shove Jackson Hayes as he was going to the cup, but they should have gave him that. They in Chicago. Nah, that elbow was crazy. Yeah, he used the elbow for too much push off. That was just crazy. Reeves is just cooking. I mean, I'm just telling you, this guy right here is on another level. This guy's like the third option right now. He's playing at points at like an all-star. Like they going through Reeves. Like this guy. Here we go. Reeves putting the moves on. Reeves just fell. I hope he didn't get hurt. Uh-oh. Wow. I knew something didn't look right. Tell me this guy's good. Oh, he twisted his ankle. Okay. I'm about to say. He looked like he might have an ankle sprain. He might be able to shake it off, but he twisted his ankle. Thank God it's just the ankle. That was a sprain for you. He probably won't be back in this game. I don't know if it's free throws to be had or what, but it's 102-92. Reeves just suffered a scare. It's so crazy. We was just talking about Austin Reeves. He was going to the cup. He just collapsed. These non-contact injuries is you don't know what the hell is going to be the aftermath after it's over. But it looked like Giddy dodged a bullet there with just looking like he twisted his ankle. Let's hope he could shake that off. I'm just happy it wasn't a knee or something like that. That would have been 30 times worse. Will Stumblin says Giddy been playing well lately. Yeah. We know what Josh Giddy could do. Josh Giddy is the truth when he wants to. He's pretty inconsistent at times, but let's see what Chicago does with him. I think they got to make a decision on the money. So it's gonna be crazy the decisions they make over the summer. Chicago has 6 players in double digits tonight, so they definitely came to play. Shout out to Chicago. Lakers 23 points off turnovers. Jackson Hayes to the cup, and he's fouled. Jackson Hayes going to the line for 2. Vucevic is fouling early. It's going to be a tough game for Chicago, man. You got the Lakers coming to town. They hot. They just came off an emotional win last night. They just racking up the W's, man. They know what's at stake in the West. You have to win, and they've been winning at an alarming rate even prior to the trade. Even with AD, they was competitive. They was doing way better than I ever would have thought. Give props to them. Let's hope that this carries over to the playoffs. And I always knew that the Lakers needed a better seeding. That was always something I stated before. Like they were always scratching in the play-in and stuff like that. They need to get firmly supplanted in the playoffs, and that's what it looks like is going to happen this year. Who knows where the seeding is going to go? I'm not even caught up with the 4th seed. Giddy corner 3 ball, that's off. So the Bulls cannot answer. They really could have used that 3 from Giddy. Patrick Williams out there. Whatever happened to Patrick Williams? This guy right here was supposed to be that dude. This guy got hurt. A lot of people don't remember what happened with this guy, man. I haven't seen him play that well since that injury. That first year with Lonzo and all of them, he was playing good, and then he got hurt. And I felt like he's never been the same. He never reached that trajectory that Patrick, he was supposed to be dominant. I feel like he just became a spot-up shooter. I don't know. Here we go. Patrick Williams, top of the key 3 ball, and that's good. We just talking about Patrick Williams. But I'm telling you, this guy right here should have been the man for Chicago. He was supposed to be that guy. I don't know what happened. Here we go, Reeves. Reeves looking to put the candle out. Can he do it? LeBron James dumps it out to Luka. Luka posting up Patrick Williams. This is the kind of play that you get from Luka. Luka to Dorian Finney-Smith. Back to LeBron. LeBron James operating on Herter. Step back mid-range jumper. That's off. Here goes Giddy. We got Kobe White. Kobe White dumps it to Vucevic, back to Giddy. Giddy has it. Oh, Giddy going all the way to the cup on Jackson Hayes, and it's good. Big time layup over Jackson Hayes, cuts the lead to 8. It's 4:20 to go in the fourth. 105-97. Josh Giddy, 19 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. I think it's safe to say a triple-double is about to happen. I think point blank period. Here goes Luka Doncic. Luka all the way to the cup. That's off. Here goes Kobe. Kobe crossing half court. Kobe White dumps it out to Kevin Huerter. Corner 3 ball. Cash. It's 100-105. Chicago is they not done yet. Do not sleep on the Chicago Bulls. Shut out Dex. We got ourselves a hell of a good game right now. LeBron James has it. LeBron operating. Kevin Huerter picks up LeBron James. LeBron James in the mid-range. LeBron dumps it out to Reeves. Corner 3 ball. Can they answer? That's off. Chicago has life. They better look out for Kobe White. Screen and roll here with Vooch. Kobe White 3 ball. That's off. Rebounded by LeBron James. The Chicago Bulls fans looking for a foul. We got LeBron. Giddy picking up LeBron. Chicago has life. You see the pressure coming defensively. Here goes Vooch. LeBron, I know you like to take step back 3 balls in this position. Pause. Here we go. LeBron James has it. LeBron going all the way to the cup on Vooch, and it's good. LeBron James, he making sure he hold on to this lead. It's 107-100. Here we go. Josh Giddy going all the way to the cup, and Vinny Smith intercepts it. Turnover. Oh, Giddy nearly got the ball back, and LeBron James has it. So the Lakers have it under control. And what's going on? It was a foul? It looked like Kobe White had to stop the ball. Yeah, they was on the ropes right there. You had LeBron James going 4-on-5. A decision had to be. Yeah, Kobe White got fouled. What's the deal, Dax?
Shout out Flight Sports TV. What's up, bro?
What's good, man? We still got fourth quarter action. LeBron all the way to the cup. He could not get it done. Here goes Kobe White, 107-100. Oh, Vooch, 3 ball, wide open. Vooch, good. We got ourselves a basketball game. It's 103-107. 2:05 to go in the fourth quarter. We got a 4-point game going on right now. Bulls on 11-2 run. You better look out for Chicago. Can LeBron James and Luka Doncic secure this dub? They doubling Luka. Austin Reeves are going to the cup to Jackson Hayes. Big time play from Austin Reeves. That was basketball right there. Reeves drew in defense, dumped it off to Jackson Hayes. You know the rest. Here goes Kobe White. Oh, Kobe White was fouled. Yeah, there we go. Kobe White just got knocked the hell to the floor by Jackson Hayes. We got 2 free throws. What's the deal, Dex, with your Lakers, man? They balling right now. They're coming off a big time win last night. What's up with the Lakers, man, as we heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, that was a much needed win last night against the Indiana Pacers. The Lakers showed how fortified they were, and after snapping their losing streak against these Eastern Conference teams, it was a breath of fresh air. I mean, and then for LeBron to be the one to tip in the game winner, playing off ball, that was even more spectacular because now the teams that are lined up in the West that are seeded right now and is looking forward to these last 9 games of the regular season, they're going to have to worry about LeBron James not on the ball. So their head going to have to be on the swivel, and it's bad enough you got to guard Luka. Yeah. And then you have AR-15 hanging in the wings. It could get ugly, Flight.
Yes, Jackson Hayes just with a big time putback. It looked like Luka tried to put him out with that 3. Here we go with Chicago. This is going to be a big possession. I heard it going all the way to the cup. He could have took that layup right there. Giddy has it. Giddy going to the baseline. Giddy and 1 from Josh Giddy. The Bulls are not done. The Lakers, this lead is not safe. Giddy just got an and 1. He's going to the free throw line. Big time play from Josh Giddy. Yep, Reeves was in the restricted area. So it was a charge, but Reeves being on that restricted area, automatic blocking foul. Reeves looking for answers. His foot was on that line. Giddy playing phenomenal tonight. 21 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists. The Bulls will be in the play-in. They're supplanted. Here we go. They're ninth in the East. It's 107, 111. The Lakers are up. Can they? Here we go. Patrick Williams picking up Luka. Luka Doncic crossing half court. P. Will all up on him. Here we go. Luka Doncic. Vucevic gets the switch. I think this the matchup. Luka won it. Luka going to work. Oh, Luka going to work. Step back, mid-range over Vooch, and it is off. Rebounded by Patrick Williams. Here comes Josh Giddy. Josh Giddy kicks it out to Herter. Back to Giddy. Come on, somebody got to give it to Kobe White. Oh, Kevin Herter. 3-ball. Cash. Uh-oh. Chicago has cut it to 1. Chicago has cut it to 1. It's 111, 110. What the hell is going on with the Lakers? They're about to blow this game. Here comes Reeves. Reeves has it. Picked up by Vooch. Reeves shaking and baking. Here goes Austin Reeves. Come on, Reeves. Reeves off the glass. Austin Reeves. Wow. Yo, I'm telling this. Yo, how much got to be paid? Austin, we listen. This is a timeout by Chicago. The game is not over. But Kobe White ain't nothing to fool with. Kevin Herter, we all know he's a sharpshooter. He's been doing this ever since his days in Atlanta. Pay homage. So that was a clutch 3 too. Kevin Herter been in a lot of tough games, in the playoffs with the Atlanta Hawks. But this play right here from Reeves was something off the glass. Wow. Man, Dex, what's up with Austin Reeves, man? What's up with this guy? I think he's playing at all-star level, man. What's up?
Yes, I've been trying to insert his name here at Flight Sports TV for some time now. And I even tried to offer him up to the Hornets, and the Hornets fans didn't want it. They threw rotten tomatoes at me and rotten onions, saying that they didn't want that Austin Reeves and Connect 4 connection, redneck connection on their backcourt. Austin Reeves, we know that Austin Reeves is a prime candidate for most improved player of the year, right? And we know that most likely that's reward is going to stay in LA, whether it's Austin Reeves or Norman Powell. One of these LA uniforms will have that solo accolade inside their silo. Now, Chicago Bulls and Kobe White, he's in that running as well. But we know Kobe White is sporadic. He can have one good game, then he can have 3 so-so games, and that might eliminate him, especially from his early play when Zach LaVine was still a part of the team. But since then, Kobe White has been on a tear. And these young Bulls are very exciting to watch, whether they win or lose. It's always an exciting game, and that's what you want from players. You want them to leave it all on the court, have nothing to take home with them, and nothing to be ashamed of.
Yes, most definitely, man. We got to give credit to Chicago tonight. They fought like hell, but it looks like they're not going to prevail in this matchup. They didn't call a goal team right there. Oh no, that
was just an air ball.
Yeah. I gotta go.
Giddy got Giddish as he normally does in crunch time. He's another Ben Simmons when it comes crunch time, and he never comes through. He always seemed to have dinosaur arms when it comes crunch time. Look at this. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How you shoot an air ball in that situation?
He was scared. Lebron was there waiting on him now.
Yeah, it was something about these Aussies when it comes crunch time. They just can't get the job done. And that's been the tag on Giddy, because just think of this, Flight. Josh Giddy was paired with one of the most superior young talent in the NBA, with Shea, who's probably the unanimous MVP. He might not be unanimous, but, overwhelming majority got him as the MVP. You're going to have some still vote for Joker. But nevertheless, he was paired with them. And Shea is about what? 6'6", and Josh is like 6'7", 6'8". I mean, that is an extremely tall backcourt that should be dominated, and they're both young. Josh is much younger than Shea, but Shea still play a young man style of basketball, and he couldn't cut the mustard. So that tells me right there what Josh Giddy's all about. You follow what I'm saying? They have a young coach, Mark Batno, who have brought up a young team. Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Shea Gilchrist Alexander, and some more. And all of the fluff that was a part of that, he got rid of and sent it somewhere else and let other people try to parade it. I'm not in on Josh Giddy. I don't care what he do, but I know what's going on. The league wants Chicago to have a white presence, a Caucasian presence. And Josh Giddy right now is probably the best option of having a decent playing Caucasian presence. But Chicagoans are not buying in. I don't care. Listen, the fake podcasters in Chicago, the fake ones, oh yeah, they try to buy in on it because they want something white. You know, they probably try to cheer for all the black guys. They want something white. Zach LaVine was as close as you're going to get to white. That's going to be a hell of a player. But now they got Josh Giddy. They're trying to parade him and put him up there, and the real Chicago's not buying it. I'll talk more about it.
Oh my goodness, Pat! Oh shit, Dex! Oh man, that was crazy. I put a friendly bet on this game, you know, and that's wild what just happened, Dex. We got breaking news. Kobe White fucked around. How the Lakers should be ashamed of themselves. Look at LeBron. Look, this shit is crazy. Man, how the fuck they blew this game?
Wow, that is crazy. Like 6 seconds. They got 6 seconds. They got 6 seconds.
Wow, this is dumb shit.
Yeah, LeBron screwed that. I don't know how he tried to not have any kind of concern in getting that ball in bounds, but they still got 6 seconds, so you just don't know. Look at LeBron. Look at him.
This is ridiculous.
Austin Reeves is pissed right now.
They allowed these motherfuckers to beat them.
Yeah, the rotation was late on that Patrick Williams. Okay, cool. But how do you don't get the ball?
Immediate. Give credit to Chicago. Who threw that pass to him like that? That was Giddy?
Yep, I think that was Giddy. So if that was Giddy, that's a triple double for Giddy. Because he was one assist from a triple double. But like I was saying is that Chicago's a fun team to watch. You know, whether they win or lose, they don't give up. They trying to prove something. But I just don't think that this is going to be a Chicago team that the Chicagoans, the real Chicagoans, not these people that stay in Naperville and stay up in Des Plaines or stay on the outskirts of Chicago. I'm talking about the hardcore inner Chicago fans is not buying what we're watching. It's exciting, yes. You know, they can win a few games, but they know they're nowhere in contention. I don't care how young they are and how exciting they are. This ain't what Chicago wants.
Reeves just scored the layup.
See?
No timeout for Chicago. Oh, yeah, they're in trouble. Giddy.
Let's see. It's not over.
Oh, it's over. Wow. Yo, Josh Giddy just hit a half-court shot. Game winner.
Did it count? Did it count?
Oh, yeah, it counted.
Oh my God!
It was like, this is ridiculous. Off a game winner.
Oh yeah, that counts.
You see that shit?
That counted. That's a walk-off.
That's a walk-off. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. I knew that shit was good.
That's a walk-off.
How the hell did they allow that to happen? They look like they work on those shots.
Well, listen, the Chicago Bulls deserve this one. LeBron James screwed this one up.
Yeah, they should be ashamed. They blew this game.
But when you hit a shot like that, there's nothing you can do about that, though. I mean, Austin Reeves did what he could to get the lead back, and Josh Giddy hit a shot from beyond half court. There's nothing you can do with that. It was Chicago game to win. And the Lakers kind of softened up on the defense towards the end, I noticed. At first, the Lakers was playing good defense for the third quarter and the fourth quarter. Then all of a sudden, they got that lead. It seemed like they kind of softened up. And that's how Patrick Williams got that shot from the corner, because they was lethargic on the rotation. And then they was double lethargic on the inbound pass, as LeBron did one of the most stupidest inbound pass ever, trying to squeeze it in a double team and got the ball stolen. And then Kobe White hits the three-pointer to get the lead. Austin Reeves erased all that. He erased everything LeBron did wrong on that last play. But Josh Giddy erased everything Austin Reeves did. Look at Casey Johnson. We erased everything the Austin Reeves did by hitting that shot. But let me tell you, I'm telling you, what the Chicago Bulls are trying to do, and the NBA is probably backing them. They're trying to develop interest, a fan interest, a core fan interest in Josh Giddy. And I'm telling you, that shot right there don't hurt Josh Giddy at all. But real basketball fans, real Chicagoans know that Josh Giddy and Kobe White as a tandem won't get nothing done. They probably won't even win a play-in game if they move with that. But they holding Lonzo out to the play-in game because they want to make sure Lonzo has his first postseason action ever in his career. So you probably won't see Lonzo to the last 3 games as James Worthy is pissed off. But I mean, you have games like that, just like the Lakers. Hello?
No, I mean, I'm pissed off. That shit is stupid. But they blew this fucking game.
Yeah, just like, Indiana blew their game. You know what I'm saying? You have games like this where you just a head scratching.
Yeah, it's like they were destined to lose because you had Kobe bury them. It started with that turnover. That turnover when Kobe White, that was a big time possession. You have to inbound the ball. You got veterans all over the floor. You got LeBron James, arguably the best passer in the game. You got Luka, maybe the second best. I mean, what the hell just happened?
LeBron messed up. Listen, LeBron messed up 2 sequences. Like LeBron didn't rotate to get to Patrick Williams. He effed that up, and then he came back and doubled down and effed up the inbound pass. And after all that, Austin Reeves erased those bad actions from LeBron, and then Josh Giddy hit the game winner, and I believe Josh Giddy has ended this game with a triple-double. But like I'm telling you, don't be a prisoner of the moment. Josh Giddy will not do nothing for the Chicago Bulls. Kobe White, player of the week. I don't know when the last time a Chicago Bull player was player of the week, probably DeMar DeRozan. But nonetheless, Kobe White ain't going to do nothing for the Bulls. If you know basketball, and I'm saying this as a experienced basketball watcher, that kind of play that Kobe, not Josh Giddy though. Josh Giddy is a pretty solid basketball player. He just don't have the heart to really get the job done. But he have the complexion for the connection that the NBA is trying to promote right now. They want Caucasian players to be more actively recognized in this basketball league. They feel that the diminish of the viewership is due to the lack of Caucasian being at the forefront. They don't have no Caucasian at the forefront except for foreigners. So since there's no no American, until probably Cooper Flag come, then they have to go with what they got. The foreigners are the better white guys, and they're positioning themselves to be the focal point of certain teams. So you got Houston with Alfred. You got Josh, probably with the Bulls. You got Joker. You got Luka. You got Laurie Marketing. And Wesley Kelsler. I think that Wesley Kelsler. So you got 2 over in Utah.
This is ridiculous.
Dallas don't have one right now. That's why I believe that Cooper Flag could be a Dallas Maverick. I think something's going to happen with the Dallas Maverick, and they're going to get a surprise. I think Commissioner going to throw them a bone.
Well, you got to know they did that with the Pelicans.
Of course.
Yeah, they wasn't
But
that
see,
bad.
but
They
Dallas is
wasn't that
different though.
bad that year.
But Dallas is different. Dallas is a basketball town. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're a football town, but they're a basketball town as well. New Orleans is really not a basketball town.
Right,
They all football.
right,
You know, whether it's the Saints or whether it's the Baton Rouge up there at LSU.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the two premier sports organizations in the Louisiana area. I mean, in the New Orleans area.
How 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 serious should we take this game with the Lakers though? Because y'all supposed
Nah,
to be
that's not a serious game.
wow.
It's
Yeah,
more serious. It's more serious for the Bulls than the Lakers because now the Bulls have swept the Lakers this season.
right.
The
Well,
Lakers, the Lakers gonna. I mean, they're gonna be all right because the Lakers gonna win more games and they're gonna win some games just like they just lost. I mean,
they
that just
should
happens in
have
basketball.
this one, man. Yo, this game
I know
had
you.
this
I
game
know you
under
feel.
control.
I know you feel a little bad because you betted on it.
Yeah, this was,
But
I ain't gonna lie, I thought I was in the driver's seat. Like I lost in dramatic fashion.
yeah, I mean, it does happen because you bet it. See, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have bet on the Lakers. Don't never bet on the Lakers no more. Bet on the Knicks.
I don't fool
Stay with the Knicks.
Nah, the Knicks. I ain't
Yeah,
fooling with
you tilted the positive outcome by you betting on it because you don't like them.
yeah, they lose like that at the end.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Ridiculous.
If you ever bet the Lakers, you got to bet with points. You can't bet them straight up.
Yeah, especially.
But that was a good game for the Bulls. You can't take that nothing. You can't take nothing from the Bulls. And Billy Donovan had nothing to do with this win. I want everybody to recognize that. Billy Donovan had nothing to do with this win because he didn't call no plays.
How could you say something like this?
Because Billy Donovan, they wasn't calling no plays. They were just out there free wrecking. That's what we call free wrecking. Just out there playing off a reaction. You know what I'm saying? That crowd was crazy at the United Center. You see that crowd?
Yeah.
It was crazy for them youngsters. So Billy Donovan had nothing to do with that. You didn't see no plays being ran. It was just late rotations on the Lakers. And sometimes the Bulls miss, sometimes they hit. And at the end, they start hitting. That's all that was. Billy Donovan had nothing to do with those last 5 minutes of the game.
Kobe got hot. They was up double digits too, man. That's also this was a drastic screw up.
Well, I mean, I don't know about the drastic. I think that's overstating.
Well, this was a game. They blew this game. They blew.
Yeah, they blew it. They definitely blew it. Yeah, they definitely blew it. But like I said, experienced watchers noticed that the Lakers got a little lethargy on their defense and their assignments, and you see that LeBron James was a part of two of them, not one. He gaffed 2 possessions.
That was a quick pass to Patrick Williams. You know, he was wide open. That pass was immediate. You know, as soon as it got in the other guy's hands, the hockey assist was immediate. That was a big 3, you know, which led to another big 3. You know, and then they was in trouble. Now the Lakers on the ropes. And give the Lakers credit because Reeves went back and still scored and put the Lakers up.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because, like I said, that erased everything of bad behavior the Lakers did on those last 2 possessions. When Austin Reeves made that spectacular layup that put the Lakers up again. So anything happened prior to that didn't even matter. Now Josh Giddy hit a unpredictable shot. What can you do? You understand what I'm saying? What can you do on a shot like that? How can you play defense on a shot like that? You can't. It's a miss or make lead. And that moment, Josh Giddy made it. So you got to give him credit. And plus had a triple-double. So you got to give him credit for what he did. But I'm telling you, as a supreme observer, Josh Giddy do not cut the mustard for the Bulls.
Wow. Off this game.
Josh Giddy could be a better player.
Game winner?
No. I mean, he's a basketball player, so that's cool. Josh, I'm talking about as a front runner for an organization. He's not that. I know he's a metrosexual, but he is not the face of the Bulls because the Bulls don't need metrosexuals. The Bulls need hardcore players that's going to put everything on the line night in and night out to get the Bulls past the first round and give them a puncher's chance in a second round series against anybody. That's the kind of Bulls the real Chicago Bulls want. Not none of this fancy little stuff that's going on, and you can talk about it and get some views, from Bulls fans that's not from Chicago. Because real Bull fans from Chicago gonna call this horse mess, cockamamie. Yes, we won. Yes, it was a half court shot. How many times you gonna win from a half court shot?
That's crazy.
You understand what I'm trying to say? So I'm not poo-pooing on the Bulls. No, I'm not. I'm not poo-pooing on the Bulls. And I'm not understating the Bulls' activity on the hardwood. But what I'm saying is that think about it like a GM. A GM going to look at it like this. When they weigh out Josh Giddy value, because Josh Giddy is betting on himself. He's going through what they call an AAV, annual average value. That's what Josh Giddy is predicating his offseason on. And he's playing really good basketball at the moment when there's not much on the line. When something is on the line, this guy caves in like a building in LA on an earthquake. All the time. Not sometime. All the time. He is a reclamation of a minor Ben Simmons. It's something up with these Aussies. Now, I'll give Andrew Bogut a little more credit. Yeah. But hell, he has Steph and Clay and Andre Iguodala. So everything wasn't on Bogut. You follow what I'm saying, Flight?
He wasn't worthy of the number one pick.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't give a damn what he did in Golden State.
Yeah, he wasn't worthy. I agree with that. But, he was another Aussie that couldn't get it done until they got all those players. And he still didn't finish because he got hurt.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you, man, as a minor historian, I don't trust these Aussies, man. Look at Josh Green over in Charlotte. Look at him. He's a fucking dud.
He should be ashamed of himself. Having no show.
They might play good in Olympics.
Yeah.
I just don't trust them. And I'm warning Chicago. If you try to outmarket the annual average value of a Josh Giddy at point guard, you're going to be sorry, man. You're going to tell me Josh Giddy is a better player than Zach LaVine? You're going to tell me Josh Giddy is a better player than DeMar DeRozan?
No,
even though Josh Giddy gets stats across the board, right?
Right.
Because that's how he played. Because he's never put anything on the line. You know what I'm saying, Flight?
Yeah.
So when Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was like that for the Clippers, remember for the Clippers, he was getting stats across the line. Scoring, assists, rebounds, because he's a tall guard. But once he got to OKC and with Chris Paul, a lot of those other stats diminished because they needed him to be the primary dude. If you get Josh Giddy to be the primary dude, I'm telling you, man, you're going to be very disappointed. He's not the primary dude now, so Josh Giddy can roam around. He can get those rebounds, just like how LaMelo Ball was his first 2 seasons as a Hornet. Remember, he was roaming around getting rebounds. Mason Plumlee complaining that Melo's taking his rebounds and jacking off his contract leverage. Remember, Mason Plumlee put that out there.
Yes.
But when Melo Ball became the focal point, some of them other numbers went down. Yeah, so if Josh Giddy become a focal point, those numbers going to go down, and you still not going to be winning like that.
Yeah,
not against the real teams.
So you think he's going to command some $20+ million deal?
Salute to Unstoppable. Say that again.
You think he's going to get some $20-something million deal, plus $1 million deal?
I don't know. I think Josh Giddy might get deep 20s or early 30s. He might get like 31.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. Did you hear what I just said, Flight?
No.
He's Caucasian. He's already in a large market getting recognition. You look at his box score, you would think that this dude is damn near all world. You're like, man, why he not an all-star? You understand what I'm saying? But when you watch it, when you watch Chicago play, like I do, see, I watch Chicago play. I don't just watch the box score. I watch their games, whether Lonzo playing or not, because I know that Lonzo is a fixture of that team. So I want to know what they're going to really try to do with a lot of these ancillary pieces that Chicago have and that have value. See, Chicago is a team that has value from their top 11 players. Their top 11 players have value and could be used, and they're young in the league. So I want to know who Lonzo going to be with next season, because this is not the group of guys Lonzo going to be with. There's going to be some drastic changes. If I'm correct on giving Acme their credit on team building, these guys will not be, most of these guys will not be here next season. They're not running this back. You can guarantee that. Some of these guys going to be traded, and some of these guys going to be signed and trade.
Wow. You think so?
Man, I'm telling you, if the Bulls win their first play-in game, yes. Because now the expectation is different.
What they gonna?
They won a play-in game. Now, if Acme want to run this back, they better lose that play-in game. Because that gives him a solid reason. Oh, we was right there, man. We just run it back, and we know we can take that next step. You know what I'm saying? Or they're going to be like Oklahoma. Wholesale. Oklahoma sold their talent. And look where they're at now. Look where those cardiac kids are at now after Oklahoma sold their talent.
Yeah, I remember
right?
that. Right.
So if the Bulls are trying to use that blueprint and borrow the gyroscope from Sam Presti, a lot of these guys ain't going to be here. What they're going to do is get picks and some veterans and run it like the Chicago Bulls need to be ran. Not this helter-skelter. Everybody's out here wilding, out of position, shooting, some make, some miss, and you winning games on a hope and a prayer. That's not real Bulls basketball, man. That's not what they used to. Just winning on a hope and a prayer. Kobe White, player of the week, yes. Josh Giddy, he if he wouldn't have got hurt, he probably would have been in running player of the week as well. But that is not sustaining basketball, how the Bulls are playing right now.
Yeah, I'm with you there. What they gonna do with Vooch? I think that's a big situation they got to deal with.
But see, myself, right now, I will keep Vooch. Because he's not a locker room sore eye, and Vooch can win you at least 3 games or more in the first half of a season, and probably win you 2 more in the second half of the season. So Vooch is good for at least +5 if played right, properly, with players that know how to play basketball, not players that want to run up and down the court and just shoot like the Houston Rockets of last year. That's why they had to get Ime Udoka to teach those boys how to play. And Silas had to go. You know what I'm saying? Because now they done had a few years running up and down the court. Okay, now let's get some schemes in here. Let's get some veterans in here. Let's get some players in here. Houston Rockets dumped their team and got some veterans and some skilled players and skilled positions and some blue collar players to help them out. And look where they're at now. Just think about that, Flight. Yeah. Look, Houston Rockets all the way up to the number 2 seed. Oklahoma City Thundercats, the boys from the Red Clay, number 1 seed. So you have to look at it as, if you're a fan and your team is not trying to improve, then why support that team? That means they're scamming you, right? They're selling you hope. They're not selling you dope, but they're selling you hope. and you hang on this hope and attach yourself to the narration that we're going to get better. Just wait till the All-Star break. We're going to get better. Wait till the off season. And now you're 3 seasons in, and you keep getting first round picks. And every time you get a first round pick, that's the new guy that's going to change the franchise. You can't win like that. You know why I know you can't win like that, Flight?
Wow.
Because the Clippers were the litmus test on that. The Los Angeles Clippers used to get all the first round picks, the number 1 picks, the number 3 picks, the number 4 picks, the number 2 picks, and they constantly lost with all that talent. And when that talent went elsewhere, the talent blossomed.
Right.
Just think of those years with the Clippers back in the day. You remember back in the day?
Yo, how far are we going?
Lamar Odom, Darius Miles.
Baron Davis.
Yeah. Well, Baron Davis was a little different, so I wouldn't include him in that bunch because he was traded, though. He was traded. Remember? He was traded to that team.
Wasn't Sam Cassell?
He wasn't drafted. Yeah, towards the end, yeah. But those guys were traded. I'm talking about drafted.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you get traded, there ain't much you can do about that. But once you get drafted, and the team have high hopes in you, and you still falter and just play around, lay around, just fall into the LA lifestyle and want to be a baller, and not showcase your God-given talent on the hardwood, nor throughout the years do you hone your talent so you can get better. That's what the Clippers was doing. People say Clippers, you go to the Clippers on vacation. If you want a vacation in LA, get traded to the Clippers.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. They got to definitely start stepping it up, man. The Clippers, to me,
Sean Livingston, yep.
Yeah, they're not a serious team to me. I think when they get to the playoffs, they're going to fly. This is how I view the Clippers.
Yeah, so, I'm telling, man, the Bulls don't get caught up in this Josh Giddy, Kobe White thing. I'm telling you right now, if Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley bring this shit back, y'all should ramshack the United Center. Who cares of watching fun basketball?
Yeah.
Let's watch winning basketball.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why when the Lakers had that fun team to watch, during the Lonzo era, or even the Swaggy P era. Remember the Swaggy P area? The Lakers was fun to watch. But they was at the bottom of the barrel. Being fun to watch. And look how the locker room was a mess. The locker room was a mess. Magic had to clean that crap up because Magic know what winning basketball is. You know what I'm saying? And the Lakers was almost a laughing stock of the NBA during that era. Kobe was out, and they just ran ramshack in the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? They didn't care about Dan and Tony. They didn't care about Byron Scott. They definitely didn't care about no Luke Walton.
Yeah, this is ridiculous, man. I'm stuck on this loss. I just think the Lakers, man. I think that's the deal. We lose like this, man.
What you mean we? You ain't no Laker fan. Stop it.
All right, well, you're right about that. I was rooting for y'all tonight, So,
and that was the problem right there. That lies in the problem.
Yo, I gotta get back to the good old days of hating.
How much did you lose, like? Because I might have to pay you to never bet on the Lakers again.
It's not nothing serious. It's just like a coworker. We put a lot of friendly bets on. He just whooping my ass. It ain't nothing real, man. It's just $10. But I lost.
He took the Bulls. He took the Bulls.
I lost to him yesterday, so he got me back to back. I lost. What game was that yesterday? I lost with the Knicks. So he got me back to back. I got his ass back to back last week. He done got me. I thought I was gonna clean up this game. Just like we just have a little friendly shit. So ain't nothing serious.
Yeah, Lakers let one get away. That's definitely a fact. They let one get away big time.
Yeah.
And listen, LeBron should be ashamed of himself with that kind of style of play. After going after Stephen A. Smith on Sublime on a Pat McAfee show, to come back and play like this on a night in Chicago where you saw see red everywhere. They was on their feet yelling and hollering. And the energy from that building swelled to the point where they had the Chicago Bulls floating and they couldn't do nothing wrong. I mean, they were shooting the ball 4 or 5 seconds in the shot clock. You think Billy Donovan had that schemed up? Of course not. Of course not.
Speaking of pride, I remember when I was eating with pride. All people mission so to see you in time. I'm from a hood where you can stop just from speaking your mind. How much energy, some energy, keep that in mind. They're gonna tap my phone, so don't speak.
Of course, Billy Donovan didn't scheme that up. That was pure play from the players on the court, led by Kobe White and Josh Giddy.
That's crazy.
There was a lot of driving dish. There was a lot of frantic three-point shooting. And those balls went in at the right time. Josh Giddy from half court to win the game. You can't script that. Spike Lee couldn't script that. Tyler Perry couldn't script that. John Singleton couldn't script that. Unless it was a Hollywood movie. And that's what we witnessed tonight. We witnessed a Hollywood movie with La La Land favorite Los Angeles Lakers being a victim of their own wows. So shout out to the Chicago Bulls for that victory. I'm not mad as a Laker fan losing to Chicago in that fashion because my boy Lonzo play on Chicago Bulls. So every win they get, it accumulates on his record. And he's healthy to come back. But why? Rest the knee. Do all the drainage that you can do. Rest the wrist. So when you come back, you'll be fresh for the last 4 games of the season. Because I think that's when he might come back, the last 4 games of the season. Just to get his chemistry and everything going right. And have his first opportunity to play in a postseason event.
I want to ask you a question about LeBron James. I want to shift gears, this is a question I've been, really been thinking to myself, and I feel like it's not getting credited enough. I see LeBron James. He's about to be working on a podcast, or he's featuring on something with Steve Nash. They working on something. It looked very similar and reminiscent to what he did with the coach right now,
JJ Redick.
Yeah. This looks very similar. They sitting down, breaking down like they some savants. And give credit to those guys. They got major IQ. I see LeBron James. When the hell we see LeBron James do an interview, Dex? This man went and did a 75-minute interview with Pat McAfee. Like I said, I'm looking at what's going on, Dex. Like I said, I see all of these. Carmelo got at 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. You understand? You got Paul George with his show, Lonzo, Jello hot as fish grease. All these different shows where we could have had an interview. We dealing with Pat McAfee. I don't see any black representation. For LeBron James. What's up with Shannon Sharp? Who the hell went hard as Shannon Sharp? You understand? That interview he did with Pat McAfee, goddamn it, it should have been on Club Shay Shay. You understand? I said it. You know, so I just feel like LeBron James is moving wrong, and Stephen A. Smith is the only one with the heart to expose it. You know, what's going on with LeBron James, Dex? Are you alarmed at the people that he's sitting down with? Because what's happening, Dex, I want to add too, to add a little more context to the audience as well. He basically got JJ Redick a head coaching job. Steve Nash flamed out in Brooklyn. You know, this show or whatever the hell they working with, I'm pretty sure is going to aid in the Steve Nash getting hired again as a coach. What's your thoughts on all of this, man? He could have sat down with Draymond. He could have did a lot. What's your thoughts? What I'm saying with the black representation for LeBron James with these sit downs? Should people be alarmed?
No, emphatically no. Because you know why?
Why?
Because LeBron James has his own the shop, and there's more than enough black representation there. So for anybody to take it there, they're misrepresenting LeBron and his narrative. LeBron has been a fixture in the black community. LeBron has been a iconic example in the black community. LeBron James is the only black, white, or anything different billionaire to still bounce a basketball in a uniform. So this mischaracterization of LeBron is a slight assassination on his character, because you have 1,001 podcasts, and LeBron chooses to do one with JJ Redick and one with Steve Nash. It's not like Steve Nash is something you can poo-poo on. He is a 2-time back-to-back MVP in the league. So, and you know I'm pro-black, but I'm not going to allow people to use that against LeBron. See,
I'm going to cut you off, Dex. I want to add to Nash, his IQ and passing ability was impeccable. You know, a lot of people don't, you know, we got a lot of young people that be listening, but go ahead.
Yeah, he might have failed as a coach, but everybody's not a coach. Magic failed as a coach. And he failed horribly with a really good team. So it happens like that. You know, Larry Bird is an exception because he thrived as a coach and a GM. And that's something unprecedented for someone with that skill and unique ability on the hardwood, to be able to have the patience enough to allow a new generation to come up and play their style of basketball and not be overly judgmental or harsh because they can't do it the way he done it. So with LeBron James' flight, I have to crush the narrative that's trying to be spiraled out that he went to the other side. And now he want to flirt with Caucasians over his own. That is something so far from the truth. His whole inner circle is Negro. It's a bunch of Negroids. Phil Jackson himself used a disparaging epithet towards LeBron and calling his unique inner circle a posse. So LeBron James is a very cerebral, high processor. And he knows where this league is trying to go. He knows this league, like I said earlier, is trying to fish for Caucasian representation at the forefront. They want high-profile Caucasians mixed in with these high-profile blacks. And they licking their chops and can't wait for Cooper Flag. And Cooper Flag is not going to be spontaneously drafted. Get that out your head. Cooper Flag already have a destination where he's going. I wouldn't be surprised. Utah, I wouldn't be surprised. Dallas. It ain't the usual suspect. He definitely won't be in Washington. I can tell you that. He definitely won't be in Washington. It's a possibility he could be a Pelican.
What about Charlotte, Dax?
No, he's not. They're not sending him to that dreadful organization.
Yo, I ain't gonna
Why
lie
would
to
you? Why would you want to ruin? Why would you want to ruin a potential gold mine?
Yeah, but they need something though, man. Who the hell need the number 1 pick more than Charlotte?
No, they got talent. Don't do that, Flight.
Nah, I
The
know, but
Charlotte
come on.
Hornets have
Maybe
talent.
Washington and Charlotte. Who the hell need to pick
No,
more
they ain't.
than
He
those
definitely
two?
going. So you saying they're gonna send Cooper Flag to Chocolate City, and everybody
Yeah.
gonna be happy? Come on, Flight.
Listen,
You know
gotta
your
understand
demographic.
something. Listen, no, all right, cool. From my history, you gotta understand. These buildings gotta get filled, Dax. These tickets gotta get paid. People, the asses gotta be put in these seats. Pause. Now,
Washington,
the Hornets
listen.
ain't got no problem. They selling tickets with Melo. What about Washington? That building don't be packed. It ain't selling out.
Flight.
So
Listen, Flight.
somebody, you know how you do that? That's what happened
Listen,
with
Flight.
New Orleans.
No,
go
listen.
ahead. What you say?
No, think about San Antonio. Think about New Orleans, right?
Okay.
The difference is with San Antonio and New Orleans is that New Orleans gave up a franchise player who was balling with the best of them. And so in that absence, it left, in that departure, excuse me, not absence. In that departure, it left a stain and a void to the point where at the time coach Alvin Gentry called it a dumpster fire. What head coach is going to call his unit a dumpster fire? Who's going to shit on his 15-player roster like that? Who's going to shit on an organization that's paying him millions of dollars like that? So with that far cry of Alvin Gentry, it reached all the way to the commissioner's ear, and the commissioner says, wait a minute, these people are emphatic about basketball to some degree. Because if they didn't care about basketball and all they cared about is LSU Tigers and the New Orleans Saints, then the departure of Anthony Davis would just be another whatever. But that wasn't the case. It was storming at the Smoothie King. Anthony Davis come mocking him and trolling him, saying that's all folks with a t-shirt, a glaring t-shirt. So the NBA had to do something. Shout out to Marvin. The NBA had to do something like, because once they got that young Creed out of La La Land, the next best thing for the Pelicans was to get Zion, who came in with just as much clamor as Lonzo Ball, if not more. So to pair them together was supposed to go into the future. But we know snake oil salesman David Griffin screwed that up royally. We know that. We know the history. So the San Antonio Spurs is different because they didn't have anybody for a minute. And Popovich was popping his veins trying to get these young Americans to play good basketball without trying to go to the Riverwalk and find the finest Mexican girl with the biggest booty. So they had to flip San Antonio slowly but surely. The DeMar DeRozans, the Dante Murray, DeJounte Murray, and Gay, and a few others to move in some of these foreigners. Now, when you look at the San Antonio Spurs roster, those foreigners that's on that team, look how many years they've been in the league. They ain't no Johnny come latelys. They've been around. They were just losing. So now he have flipped the roster. Popovich have flipped the roster to the point, even though he can't enjoy it, that he got a #1 foreign-born player in the world. A unique unicorn, not just a unicorn, a unique unicorn. He's down now. And then they got an agreement from an American-born player named Darian Fox to be willing to pair with Wimby for the unknown future. And that's what the NBA wanted. They needed someone that can ball and put the ball in the bucket to be able to alleviate some of the burden that was placed on this 19-year-old. And it just so happens, Flight, chat, the world, America, that it fell by the wayside due to injury. But they'll be back. Now the Dallas Mavericks traded away. See, listen to this now. Nico Harrison, Jason Kidd, traded away a formidable franchise player in Luka Doncic, young Caucasian who has already been sensational. First team All NBA for 5 years, and he's only 25 years old. So for them to get rid of Luka, a cash cow, a goose that laid the golden eggs for D-Town, when Dallas was starting to usurp, the Dallas Mavericks, let's be clear here. The Dallas Mavericks was starting to usurp the Dallas Cowboys as far as interest, not as revenue, but as far as interest. With the Kyrie, Lively, Gafford, and Luka Doncic connection, where they went all the way to the NBA Finals and lost to the Boston Celtics, who was a superior team, and we all know this. So no shame in that.
And
How in the hell can you justify that?
You got Luka at the podium speaking different languages and all kind of shit. That don't help either.
Yes. So how can you justify that though, Flight? You can't, right? The only how you can justify that, if, like the old saying go, if you take something away, you got to have something in place to replace it. That's why I think a Cooper Flag sighting could be in D-Town. There could be some shenanigans.
That'll be crazy.
Because we know Texas is a conservative state. We know the Dallas Mavericks is a conservative team. They're not a liberal team. I don't care how much Mark Cuban tried to portray that. As we see Mark Cuban on Shark Tank and other interviews, we know he has a conservative bone. But he's just nice with his conservatism. So, on the record here at Flight Sports TV, I'm not saying what I'm saying reflects Flight Sports TV as entirety, but what I'm saying represents my personal opinion that the Dallas Mavericks got something cooking, and the commissioner has his hand in the cookie jar.
That would be. Don't forget about the kid Ace Bailey too. You got a couple of people now in this drive. I think it's like it's a couple of guys that might do something. But what about Flag? You know he got hurt, but that ain't shit.
Okay, Zion got hurt. What that mean?
Yeah, you're right. Zion.
Kenyon Martin got hurt. Remember? I don't know if you go far back as Kenyon Martin. You probably not.
I remember Kenyon. He got hurt. Jersey.
Still was #1 overall. #1 overall. #1 pick.
To New Jersey, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Coming out of Cincinnati. Shout out to the chat, man. We love you. So, Flight, those players you named that's not Cooper Flag, are they Negro?
Well, yeah, you do got a few of them. Yeah, that's black. Yeah, you are right.
Okay, how many black players that's already in uniform for the Dallas Mavericks?
Oh yeah, they loaded.
More than 5, right? Yeah, more than 5, right?
Yeah,
We can agree to that, more than 5.
that's right.
So if one superstar Caucasian left, you don't think it's reasonable to replace him with another?
That's a good question. But the thing is this, hold on, I got to see what the seeding look like though. Let me see what the Mavs, they completely out of it. See, let me see. Because I know they can pull it.
I don't think they're completely out of it.
No, they 9th.
But why? But why try? Why try? Right?
Yeah, they can always fall out.
Nobody wants to see the Mavericks. Yeah, nobody don't want to see them in nothing. Yeah, exactly. There you go. So it's a possibility
they could fall
that the Dallas Mavericks could fall. Yeah, they can fall to the 13th seed. Like,
yeah,
because you got New Orleans, you got Utah, then you can have the Dallas Mavericks.
You got Phoenix one.
And that 13th seed, you got action at that golden ball.
Yep. And the old
You feel
team,
me?
you gotta think. Let's say you Phoenix, and you
Shout
had a
out to
shitty
Sky.
year. Your year was completely ass. You know, imagine you match up with Houston. They got to be feeling good. What you think?
The Phoenix Suns can match up with anybody, right?
Right.
Because they have the talent. It's if they the only thing that holds the Phoenix Suns back, them boys from the valley, down there where all the cactus grow in that desert. The only thing that will hold them back, if their family is itching to be in Cancun. If their kids and wives are not itching to be in Cancun, Phoenix Suns is a very dangerous team. Because you got Kevin Durant and Booker, and they can give you 60 points on any given night. Right? 30 from Durant, 30 from Booker on any given night. That's how dynamic they are when it comes to scoring. So if those players on the Phoenix Suns want to make a little extra money and hold off their vacation just a little while, they can be very dangerous. Them boys from the valley can be very, very dangerous. Flight.
This look like it's gonna be their last year too. What you think about that?
I mean, anything is possible, right? Luka Doncic, so that means anything's possible.
I'm hearing
nobody's safe. Like Anthony Edwards said, nobody's safe.
Yeah.
Play to stay, right? You got to play to stay. Nobody's safe. And so that's why the Chicago Cardiac Bulls is such a fun team, because there's so many ways you can slice the pie. Or let me put it this way. There's so many ways a butcher can cut the beef from this Brahma bull. Because you have a lot of talent that's not number one nowhere. They can't be a number one nowhere. But you have a lot of talent that could supplement any contending team. Or go to an organization that have money to pay them. Because Chicago Bulls ain't finna pay them people, man. You can best believe that. The Kobe's, Williams, the Giddys, they ain't finna pay them. Pay them for what? What do they bring? They're not bringing nobody to the United Center. You understand what I'm saying, Flight? They're not bringing nobody to the United Center.
Nobody.
Because whoever's in that Bulls uniform, the United Center is going to be there to watch. Do you know how cold it is in Chicago? They love to be inside. They love to find a reason to be inside somewhere. They pay top dollar just to get inside for 2 or 3 hours.
It's cold as hell in Chicago.
You know what I'm saying? So don't let the media fool you, and don't let these old 65 Chicago Bulls content creators fool you either, because they in on the game, because they want to keep you watching. Because I'm gonna tell you, most of them do not break no news. All they do is reiterate what's already out in the streets. Only one that I know for Chicago Bulls content creators that break news is Casey Johnson. Because the other guy passed away. I forgot his name. He passed away. Everybody else wait for Casey Johnson, or they might wait for Will Purdue to tweet something, and then they go and do it. Or what's the other guy named Barnes or something like that? And then they go and, and put it out there. So they need to stop the faking and cite their source. Because on Bulls Twitter, you know who the sources are. Regardless if these podcasters mention names or not, Bulls Twitter gonna give you the sources. And that's what I don't like. I hate to see someone plagiarize someone else's hard work and try to get credit for it. Or if not get credit, obfuscate the source. So it make it seem like they did the digging. You feel me? So the real Bulls. Go ahead, Flight.
So that's a good call. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, so the real Bulls. I'm talking about the real Bulls fans, not these jalopies and not these weirdos, but the real Bulls fans know that Kobe and Josh would not cut the mustard. I don't care if they lead their podcast off with Josh getting another triple-double against the Lakers, a buzzer beater for sure future for the Chicago Bulls. Kobe White, Player of the Week, must get re-signed by the Chicago Bulls, or they put out hashtag no trade Kobe. Why would you put out a hashtag no trade Kobe when you know Kobe White is not a number one? You cannot depend on Kobe White as a number one. Kobe White is a bucket getter. But so was Vinnie Johnson. So was Lou Williams. So was Jamal Crawford. Should I continue? But these players were number ones. Every time they got a crack at being the number one option, they faltered. You know who a number one option is. Because they don't just get you buckets in sporadic play, up and down the court, fast break. They get you buckets when the game slow down. That's how you know who's the number one. They don't call Jimmy Buckets because it sounds good. Jimmy Butler was getting buckets when the game slowed down, when the game was on the line, or to push a team off the edge. Kevin Durant, same thing. That's how you know a number one.
When he got all his homies with him.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean by when you got all your homies with him, but if you're speaking about the Golden State Warriors, then you got to look at Kevin Durant was the best player on that team by far. It was screamingly obvious.
You might have a point there, but I'll tell you what he did. Curry was about to go on an epic run. Maybe he was the best player on that team, but was he better than Steph Curry? That never was
at that time. Yes, at that time, yes.
Maybe if you want to say that, that never was disputed.
You differ? You differ?
Listen, Curry was about to take over the West. Even if Kevin Durant would have stayed in Oklahoma City, I think they maybe still would have lost. I think Curry was about to go on that mode. I don't know if maybe because they did push him to 7 games. He had Westbrook with him. So I think you had to. It's just feel like it's incomplete to me, man. I think he needed to settle that before.
Let me help you out here, Flight. Let me help you out here, my brother, my young brother.
Right, and that's my opinion.
Yeah. Let me help you out in your opinion. You ready for it?
What's that?
Steph Curry had just lost the championship,
But
and they didn't have an answer for LeBron James. They didn't have an answer for Kyrie Irving because the only LeBron stopper out there was Kevin Durant. That's why they went on. He's up in what's that place over there by you? Flight Martha Vineyard. I mean, yeah, Martha. Is it Martha Vineyard?
You talking about Arthur
The
Ashe?
Hamptons. The Hamptons. Excuse me. The Hamptons.
Long Island.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember that now. And I was in the Hamptons. I told you I was in the Hamptons before. Yeah. They went on bending knees up to the Hamptons, begging Kevin Durant to come play with them after Kevin Durant had a secret oath to CJ McCullough and Damian Lillard. This is why CJ McCullough called him a snake.
Well, he was going to go to Portland?
He was going to go to Portland.
No.
And then, I guess, Draymond's the bully. Nah, man, you coming with us, man. You go to Portland, I'm going for your knees every time you go for a layup.
Well,
So he had to make a business decision.
well,
And he chose wisely. And when he chose to go to Golden State, he was the best player on that team for 3 years running. It wasn't no accident.
Yeah. You know what I will say in the Cleveland's defense? That was a coward move by Steph Curry and Draymond and all those bastards because they beat them. Hold on. They was in a rivalry. You know, this is my opinion. I know people try to put this guy, that guy. Steph Curry is LeBron's definitive rival. I don't give a hell what nobody say. LeBron is just he moves so soft out there on the court, friendly with motherfuckers. He don't acknowledge who was his rival. You understand? Curry beat him they played in the finals multiple years. He won, you won. But okay, but not getting off track. Golden State won the first year. You understand? Okay, they come back and they beat you the next year. And then you just completely retool and fuck up the game. Y'all come back the next year again. Y'all still would have made the finals. You know, that's what I'm saying. I believe, go ahead.
Well, you forgetting about the Houston Rockets was on the uptick, right? You forgetting about OKC Thunder if Kevin Durant stays was on the uptick. So getting out of the West wasn't as simple as you might imply because you're forgetting an integral part of the history with Golden State struggle with Houston and they struggle with OKC. Then once, okay, let me finish. Once they did get past Houston to OKC, they still had LeBron on the other end of the spectrum waiting to gobble him up. So you had three teams. Yeah, so you had three teams, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we get caught up in revisionist history. Sometimes we get caught up in recency bias. But nevertheless, Flight, you had three teams that was a prominent threat to the Golden State hegemony of sovereignty. So Kevin Durant was a kryptonite to all three teams. Because if you take them off of OKC, they weaker. You put them with the Golden State Warriors, Houston doesn't have a chance. You match them up against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Curry cancel Kyrie, KD cancel LeBron. What about Clay? What about Draymond? You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
They had no answer. Cleveland had no answer for Clay or Draymond. The only answer they had if they had a bad game. So Clay and Draymond was the X factor that Cleveland didn't have an answer for because KD and LeBron cancel each other out and Steph and Kyrie can cancel each other out. So that's why KD was needed. See, they did the math. And I believe it was Draymond because Draymond looked like he's smarter than Curry. I don't care what nobody say. Just because you light skinned don't make you smart. It seemed like Draymond scribbled down on some paper and came out with a mathematical equation that KD must be extracted from OKC and put on Golden State Warriors for them to become the sovereignty. I mean, the hegemony of sovereignty. So when you look at it like that, Flight, you have to say Steph Curry, rival to LeBron or not, was shaking in his boots every time LBJ came through that corridor.
Yeah, it's a mess. You got me looking at the history of these matchups now. You know, right now I'm looking at the highlights of this game too. This is the first year when they played. Yeah, they had Shumpert. You had all these guys. See, they fucked the game up when they got Kevin Durant, man. You know, they was evenly matched up, man. You know, what they did was they made the Warriors a complete juggernaut. You know, and nobody could compete with them. That's what happened. You know, it was just impossible to beat them. And what's his name had to tear his goddamn Achilles because they was gonna come back. If Kevin Durant was healthy, they would have beat Toronto in the finals. Kawhi would have never won. You know, he went completely out. That's how the Raptors was able to get that championship. So this is how gridlock they made the system. You know, so it's just always messed up. You know, no matter what LeBron did, he was gonna lose in the finals. It was no way. They had no answer. I remember they had that game 1 in Golden State. This is the J.R. Smith game. J.R. Smith just fucked that whole package up, you know, in my opinion. But look what LeBron had to do to just try to win one of them games. He had to basically go all out. You know, it was no way to beat those guys because you couldn't double him. You know, so we sitting up here praising Durant. I think Durant is the biggest fraud. You know, that's just my opinion. I know it's an unpopular opinion because I remember the Zach Randolph days, you know, and things of that nature. He was losing and all of this. You know, they got to the finals one year, you know, obviously when they had the trio. But outside of the juggernaut with the Warriors, what has Durant done? He went to Brooklyn and flamed out. You know, this Phoenix situation looked like it's going to end up in smokes. You know, so this has just been a complete disaster, you know, for Kevin Durant. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up in Los Angeles. You know, he going to end up somewhere where he could shift the balance of power, you know, because you just make another big three. I don't think it's going to really do anything, you know. He going to have to go somewhere where the balance just completely gets shifted, where they do that bullshit again. You know, where one team is just overly more superior than the rest. That's just my opinion. Remember, this is just my opinion. What's your thoughts on Kevin Durant, man? Because he wasn't able to be doubled in that finals. We talk about him just burying 3 after 3 in LeBron's face. These 3-pointers are going to be embedded in NBA history. Nobody going to tell you that they couldn't leave the fucking corner because Klay Thompson was over there. You know, they couldn't leave because Curry was sitting his ass over there. So he was able to just walk down LeBron and hit that 3 in his face in the NBA Finals in the clutch. You know, and while LeBron was getting triple teamed and all kind of shit. See, we talk about LeBron as a hater, you know, but I have to stand with LeBron in this instance. You know, he went out like a champion, you know, because he was fighting just a complete bad fight that it was impossible to win. But go ahead, Dex.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you painted a good picture there. And don't forget, Draymond Green was hitting threes in his career at that time. So that
He wasn't this bad. He wasn't no laughing stock.
Right, you know? Exactly. Because Draymond could put up a 30-piece on you. If you start slipping, he could put up a 30-piece on you. And he did in the finals, remember? So yeah, he wasn't this bad either. So that's why I said that there was no answer for Draymond and Klay after you balance everything out with Curry, KD, LeBron, and Kyrie. So you still had the odds or the pendulum switching
And he
towards.
had to get suspended for LeBron James and what's the
Thank
name
you.
of them to really take the championship. You don't
Thank you.
remember?
Yeah, the stimulus package. Yep, that's right. That's right. They had to remove Draymond,
Draymond was
who,
locking
who were
shit
the
down
heart.
defensively too. Like he was
Yeah, exactly.
controlling the paint. You
Yep,
understand? So it was like, okay, these guys are hitting all the threes and shit, but he doing all the dirty work. You
yep,
know, and he cleaning up everything. You know, and you don't really see it too much because he's so small, but he's really fucking things up in the interior. You know,
yep.
like
Him,
yeah, like if
him
you got
and
LeBron
Iguodala.
trying to attack the paint, he gonna fuck all that up into a degree. You know, LeBron gonna get his, but he gonna make it very difficult. You know, because he was moving. He moving 1 through 5. This is Draymond in his prime now, like you was just saying. You know, so it's just they had to suspend him because they would have lost. But go
Yep.
ahead.
Yeah, you're right. They gave LeBron a stimulus package, and we all know it. At the same time, LeBron semi provoked Draymond because he knew Draymond was an emotional player, and his emotion has never been tamed to the fact where if you agitate him, he would just dismiss you. If you agitate Draymond Green, he's going to come at you, and he might do some dumb shit, and that's what he did. Kick LeBron in his groins, and that was enough. He was suspended. And that gave all the momentum to the Cleveland Cavaliers, even though the Warriors was a superior team. And then history was made because LeBron James promised to bring a championship to Cleveland. And that was their first championship in like, what, 50 years of any sport at that time. So, yeah, I mean, that's what happens. And so going back to the Bulls, they have to be wise in this offseason. And I'm going to talk about the Suns in 1 second. So the Bulls have to be wise this offseason and don't drop the ball with a lot of this young talent. But the young talent is not going to take you nowhere. All they is going to have a semi-exciting season and then crash and burn in the extended season. But like I said earlier, Flight, the Phoenix Suns, the boys from the valley, down there where the cactus grow, to be a surprising dark horse coming out of the play-in situation. And I think that needs to be paid attention to.
We're gonna find out about Phoenix, man. I think they are headed for a rebuild inevitably. Just because I hear a lot of smoke. Where smoke is fire. I'm hearing they're gonna facilitate Durant to a contender. They made that clear. And it's not like they're saying he will request a trade. They're making it clear that he will be moved to a contender. You know, so whatever the hell that means. That goes back to what I said. I believe Durant, along with Adam Silver, you know, they are going to shift the balance of power once again. You know, and it's unfortunate for something like that to happen. I don't know what team that could happen on. Can he go back to Golden State? Is it going to be some shit where he take less money? I mean, at this point, I don't know. But I think Durant is all out going to get him a championship next year. You know, try to. You know, so I don't know if LA got the space or what. Or can they listen? Look out for LA. Y'all sitting on Austin Reeves right now. I know y'all love him. I know
Wait
it.
a minute. You think he's
But
coming to the
hold
Lakers?
on now, hold on, huh? I'm taking it to the Lakers because I believe that Durant wants to go to a contender. You know, I think that the Lakers are going to be a team where he talks to. You know, I don't know if he's going to go there, but I think they're going to sit down and have a conversation about how they can facilitate something. You know, so y'all sitting on Austin Reeves. Y'all got the pieces to pull this thing off. You know, so it's all up to what Genie Bus. Y'all got Luka. LeBron is there. You know, I know they're LeBron. They want to get LeBron one more, right? You know, so I'm just throwing out a scenario how y'all could end up with Durant. You know, now Booker, he's gonna get expensive. You know, I heard rumors on him too. They looking for the house, you know, for Booker. So I don't know what's gonna happen with him. You know, what team he gonna go to where they're gonna offer the house, where they're gonna get multiple picks, and he was their franchise player before they drafted him. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna want some equity, So it's gonna be interesting what they do. And then Bill,
Yeah.
he could just, they got to tread
Bill is,
lightly with him. He
yeah, who
control
cares
his
about Bill,
destiny.
right? Yeah, who
He
cares
control
about Bill?
his destiny. Go ahead.
But I don't think the Lakers could afford Kevin Durant because it was a couple opportunities that that could have been sealed, and the money never came out right. So the closest he got to the West Coast, I mean to LA, is Phoenix. He was supposed to be a Laker like 2 years ago, but nevertheless, I don't know if he's coming to the Lakers. I doubt it. Clippers might be in the runnings, but now Booker could go to Chicago. You could have Booker in Chicago because I'm quite sure they probably looking at LaMelo and Booker in Chicago in that backcourt because Booker is so skilled. He's a veteran and he's not a problem. You don't never hear Booker talk about nothing. All he's worried about is his lowriders. Outside of them lowriders and sneaking off with a Kardashian here or there, he good. So LaMelo Ball could be someone Chicago could look at in the offseason, as well as Devin Booker.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if Booker is gonna go to a team where I think he get a fresh start. Like you said, something like Chicago. I think where the deck is there for him to be the number one option or the second option. That's what I think is still waiting for him. He's gonna probably go. What about Book? I don't. What about this league? So funny. I wouldn't be. What if he end up in Oklahoma City? You understand, with Shea? So these are the things that I'm thinking about. They got all these people too. Oklahoma City, don't get it twisted. They're ahead of schedule. You understand? So they got a lot of picks. This team is like, it's impossible that Oklahoma City don't win a championship in the next 5 years. Between now and 5 years. And Dex, you can answer this as well. I think it's completely impossible for them not to win one because I think they got all of the chips. They're ahead of schedule. They control their draft capital. It's just like everything is in their favor, and they're the number one seed in the fucking NBA. Do you agree that you see it almost as an impossibility that Oklahoma City don't win at least one championship between now and the next 5 years? What do you think?
Well, Oklahoma is it's difficult because you had just think about this flight. Let's go down the yellow brick road, and when we go down that yellow brick road, we see a shining object. And once we get near this shining object, it is so bright that we can see to the other side because it's translucent. And on the other side of that object reads Oklahoma City Thunder, starring Kevin Durant, starring Serge Ibaka, starring James Harden, starring Russell Westbrook. And nothing came out of that. I mean, how many Hall of Famers can you have on one team and not have a championship? Only one final appearance. So what Oklahoma is doing now doesn't impress me because I've seen this all before. That even a greater team than what we're watching with the trope of Shea and company didn't mount up to a hill of beans. And those boys, regardless of how far they got, always got sent home drinking cactus juice. So I don't know about in the near future for Oklahoma City Thunder. All I know is that they're a good regular season team, and we just have to see this season how far they get. Because depending on matchups, they could get knocked out sooner than expected. Like,
I agree. We're gonna find out what's going on with these guys. Oklahoma City is tricky, and we still don't know how they're going to respond because the playoffs is different. You know, I seen Dallas just basically figure them out. Last year in the playoffs. So who's to say they don't face a veteran team? That's why I say if you look at Phoenix so silly and stupid. I just think they may not get it together because I don't know what's. I don't think they all the way intact, but so there's teams out there. If Dallas was healthy, I think they could take them. Um, just looking at some teams. Minnesota, look out for them. I can't see Sacramento doing anything. So it's tricky, right now with the Western Conference, But back to Oklahoma City, I just like their chances in my opinion. I like Sam Presti. I think he's doing a good job. And I think they winning, and I don't even believe he won. He was even trying to be this good. It just happened. So and I'm surprised he didn't just start moving people. Like, what the hell? We wasn't supposed to be this good. Let's get y'all up out of here. Let's keep fucking tanking. He did it. He did it wrong. He tanked too, but I guess he did. And I don't know. It's just messed up what they did. How they accumulated all these picks, and it's just wild. But they could still pull off a major deal. They could go get Zion Williamson. If they really wanted him. So I mean, Oklahoma City could really add. They added Caruso without giving up no picks. So I mean, they playing checkers out here. Oklahoma City. I'm just watching them. They got a lot of players that people don't really be knowing. So that could be a problem in the playoffs. Because nobody even know these people. Scouting reports maybe are not all the way there. With some of these guys. And in the playoffs, when they lock in, Shea gonna do him, but what about everybody else? That's gonna be a problem, for Oklahoma City in the playoffs when they lock into those teams. If they lock down with a tough team, they can be in trouble. I like LA, in the series against them. I like let me see. I like Golden State if they faced Oklahoma City. And you got Jimmy there. Jimmy gonna take somebody hard. You understand? That's all I'm gonna let you know right now. And I can hear Draymond and Jimmy. Look, we taking one of these dudes out the game. They probably gonna let Shea do whatever. But some of them Williams, Chet, somebody's getting completely took out. And just look out for them veteran teams, man. We got a lot of young teams ahead of schedule. So just hang in there if one of your teams is doing good and you feeling good, especially out west. If we get into east shit, if you want to, but it's just crazy.
Well, it ain't nothing in the East but Cleveland and Boston.
Is Cleveland serious though? You believe in them? Who's more real, Cleveland or
I really don't. I don't believe in Cleveland.
Me neither.
But you just never know. You know what I'm saying? Sooner or later, someone have to spring up their ugly head and take control of their destiny. We have seen this. We have seen teams get usurped from what we consider lesser teams, and then those teams go on a run. So these things do happen. Cleveland do have a playoff machine with those towers sitting down there in the forest, in that restricted area. They have superb play at the perimeter with the dynamic duel of Garland and Spider-Man. So you just never know, right? You got low post presence, you got rim protection, you got slashers, you got athletes, and then you got a bona fide score. And when you have that combination meshed in with the tenacious desire to pursue the ultimate goal, which is to hoist that Larry O'Brien trophy, other teams could be in trouble. And even Boston, as they sit on the mountaintop, could they be too content with the plateau and not try to build on that foundation? Could Boston have playoff fatigue? Because Boston been in the playoffs for I don't know how long consecutively.
Yeah.
And with these Jaylen Browns and Jason Tatums. So could they have playoff fatigue? Could they be ready to go? I mean, Jason Tatum got that real beautiful girl that sung that song, Mabu.
Yeah, this
Ellie Mae, right? He got Ellie Mae. He might want to spend some time with Ellie Mae.
yeah. Is that Ellie Mae?
Yeah, what was that song she had? Something about Mabu or something? Booed up. Booed up, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He took her off the market quick. Because I said, what happened to the girl Booed Up? Why didn't she come out with another song? She came out with another song, but they didn't really promote it like they did Booed Up. And then I found out why. Oh, this dude took her off the market. She out the industry. He done put her up. This dude got $300 million. He done put this girl up, man.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, a lot of people don't believe in these teams. We're gonna find out. But shout out to Houston. They had a schedule too. I'm surprised how dude, the coach, went down there and just got things going. Out there. I'm surprised that he did that so fast. And I don't think they got no major number one option. Who Houston got?
Well, the center, that's it. I mean, Jalen Green as a subsequent piece.
Yeah, Sagan here no number one option.
Right? They really don't have a number one option. Yeah, they don't. They win by the collective.
Yeah. They win by the collective. Yeah, that's why they're gonna lose in the playoffs. That's what I'm
That collective shit is gone.
That shit. Now, what's gonna happen when they get locked down with Anthony Edwards or some shit like that? That's where they're gonna run into problems. Like when they got to see this one guy.
And who gonna get the whistle? See, you got to remember this. Like, let me tell you something about the dynamic of the game. If you don't have no name, if you don't have no name player, you ain't getting no whistle. So if you playing a team that has a known player, that means the whistle gonna be in their favor because the crowd wants to see that. You understand where I'm going?
Yeah.
So these teams got to be careful on these matchups. You know what I'm saying? They got to be really careful on these matchups.
Yeah, because Houston, they may not get the calls in the playoffs. Like Sagan, he did make the playoff. He did make the All-Star game. So.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody checking for that dude.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, they might get more calls than Randall. Or dude. You never know.
Ant-Man gonna get his calls.
Now, don't sleep on Randall. Got a lot to prove in the playoffs. Then they got DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
Look out for Minnesota, man.
Yeah.
They may not go all the way to what they did last year, but they might win the series. I want to see Minnesota against one of these younger teams. That overachieved. I want to see how they fare. So this is going to be an exciting playoff, in my opinion. If you can pinpoint who you think going to win it all.
I mean, you always got to go with the favorite, right? I mean, the champs. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to. I can't say Boston.
Wow.
I mean, I'm being unreasonable. I've got to admit, I'm being very unreasonable. I'm praying that Cleveland knocked them off big time. I can't see Boston having 19 championships plus 2 over the Lakers.
You don't want that to happen.
I do not want that to happen. So I'm rooting for Cleveland, but we know Boston is crazy superior, especially if KP, Kristaps Porzingis, is available for play. You know what I'm saying?
Balance.
Man,
he shifted the power, and he's even more deadly in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
there's no answer for this dude. If you don't rough him up, he's gonna kill you.
Yeah, don't get rough with him because he embraced that shit. Don't try to punk him. If you think you're gonna get physical with him that's gonna make him even more crazy. Because Porzingis, he a dog, man. I can say that because I didn't like him because he was in New York and he left New York. But Carmelo was his guy when he came in. That was Carmelo's rookie. And Melo took him under his wing, and he got a ferocious fire side. And he played in New York City, so he was the number one option. So he understands the crowds and these environments that he's in. That's not gonna phase him. Hostile environment. He's smiling. Like this shit ain't shit. Let's go. That's his energy. So that's what I will give him. He's a great player in my opinion. And if he didn't tear that ACL, we'd have been looking at a perennial all-star, superstar kind of player. That ACL tear shifted things for Porzingis. If he didn't tear his ACL, we'd have been looking at a perennial all-star, possibly superstar number one option, offense and defense, but continue. He would have been bringing the ball up like KD, if he didn't tear his ACL. That's the way he was headed. But go ahead, Dex.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't call him unicorn for nothing. You know what I mean? That wasn't no misnomer. That was a actual nickname that was very befitting and suited him at that time. When he was healthy, I mean, he was unstoppable. He could do anything, and plus he was taller than everybody.
Yeah.
So
blocking everything.
Yeah. He was a menace.
Yeah.
He was a menace.
He damn near was playing 1 through 5. He guarded all the positions. He could move with the guards. He was just crazy. And then he just, like I said, when he went to Dallas, he got his range up. What I will say, like, I guess shooting with Luka, he was shooting them long, deep threes, up there in Dallas. Like he should have been going back to the basket. It's just a lot, but it is what it is. In New York, he was doing that back to the basket shit.
He was coming off an injury though. Don't forget that. He was coming off an injury. Remember, he got traded while he was injured.
Yeah.
So he was coming off an injury, trying to matriculate in a space that was unfamiliar with him, because now you have a guy he's matched with who's ball dominant. And they're not looking at Kristaps Porzingis the same as they did in New York, because they wanted to see could he bounce back from that injury, because that was a gruesome injury. And it took him a while to get, acclimated. Yeah. And once he got acclimated, he felt like, man, I'm out. I can do this somewhere else. And that you have a bitter breakup, because they was trying to use those two as a good pairing for the future of the NBA.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work.
No, backfired. They end up not really liking each other.
Yeah. Yeah, because Chris, like I said, KP was famous New York.
He was everything.
You know what I'm saying?
Everything.
And now I'm in Dallas. Yeah, I was in New York, and now I'm in Dallas, and you trying to treat me like I'm nothing? You want to hold on to the ball and give me the ball late and not positioning me, and you trying to take over the team when I'm already popular. You're just a rookie, So it was ugly. It was an ugly marriage, and so divorce was incoming, and that's what happened. But now he's back in Boston. He's back on the East Coast, and he got a ring. So I guess he won that battle, and that decision turned out to be okay. Is it now let's talk about this Cooper flag thing.
Let's talk.
Okay. The NBA is salivating over the opportunity of having Cooper flag in this year's draft. There's teams that are wallowing above sea level, and all they need is a Cooper flag to be able to wear as a life vest, right?
and these teams could be floating above water. You got Utah, you got Dallas. Something just tells me the Mormons up there in Utah will sacrifice a sheep for Cooper Flag. Something tells me the state of Texas will embrace Cooper Flag. And it also tells me that Captain America will be a beloved in New Orleans. And teams could be jostling to be able to get in that slot where Cooper Flag can become a part of their organization. Now, everybody that gets the number one seed, the number one draft pick, depending on that team, might not need Cooper Flag. So it's a possibility that they can pick them and then trade them. Or they could trade down.
Who the hell would do that, Dax?
I think Washington Wizards would do it.
Wow. For who?
Whoever their trading partner is. It don't matter who their trading partner is, right? I just think because listen, you're not going to get Cooper Flag. I mean, wait a minute now. Washington D.C. Whoa, you got President Trump. I don't see it now. It's nothing that I can fathom that will put Cooper Flag with the Wizards, even though it's Washington D.C.
They're gonna get taken care of because, like I said, I think that building is a building that is not selling out. You know,
they got taken care of last season. Flight. They had the number 2 pick.
Yeah, I know.
No, wait. Hold on. Last season, did they have number 2 or number 3? Because I think Atlanta might have had number 2, huh?
Oh, I think. I'm not sure. I forgot. It was second or third.
Yeah, they was up there. Because they got SARS, right? They got the Rookie of the Year. He's going to be Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, SARS.
So I don't think they're going to play with that with the Washington Wizards. They already threw them a bone. And Washington, you got to remember now, I know you might not be familiar with the DMV, but that's black. Maryland, Virginia, and the District of Columbia. That's Chocolate City, Flight. You understand what I'm saying?
District.
And this would be the same thing. Listen to me right here, Flight. Now, if I go off the third rails, please help me out here, because sometimes I do have the potential to go off the third rail because I outsmart my own self. Now, if you can remember, 6 years ago, something similar was brewing. And what happened was the Trae Young and Luka Doncic dynamic unfurled. Luka was drafted to the Atlanta Hawks. Don't forget this. Trae Young was drafted to the Dallas Mavericks. Someone with a brighter mind said, wait a minute, we can't send Luka to Atlanta. Think about that. Luka in Atlanta? Do I need to say more? Luka in Atlanta. Do I need to say more? Do you think that was going to work out? Now,
the Trey was a much better fit.
Now I've been to Atlanta Falcons football game. A great experience. It's I mean, to see all those dark faces filling up them seats. It's crazy, man. Hooping and hollering. about a loser ass Atlanta Falcon team. They just there for the fun. They don't give a damn if Atlanta win or not. They there to barbecue. The tailgates is crazy. You got soul food
Yeah,
at
that's
the tailgate.
facts. Yeah, Dex, that's facts.
You follow what I'm saying? I've been there. I've been in that Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I watched them play the Washington Redskins. And they all got the Atlanta gear on. If they don't have like Atlanta jersey or something, they got the colors in their clothing. It's crazy. So Luka couldn't fit in that environment. Them black folks ain't trying to see no white boy like that. You understand what I'm saying? That's not how Atlanta get at. So someone with a higher degree of intelligent quotient said, wait a minute, man. I know Trae Young might be biracial, but Luka ain't finna survive in Atlanta. They will move him out of that stadium. So we got to put Trae Young in there. We got to give him some portion of their culture. We know Trae Young is a little strange, but we got to give him Trae Young, and we got to give Luka to Texas. You understand what I'm getting at here? Because it's business, right? Ain't nobody finna come see Luka, man, in Atlanta. That's not happening. That is not happening. I know Little Nas X had that song, Old Town Road. And that song was so congealed, it united the state of Georgia. Luka don't have that. So we have to go somewhere where it is more befitting of his complexion to be accepted. And Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks was elated to be able to trade for Luka. Not knowing that he's going to be all this, at least on the surface. Prima facie. Prima facie. On the surface, the basketball world didn't know this about Luka. Maybe the scouts of the Dallas Mavericks had an inside scoop. I don't know. But that's the similitude that I just wanted to relate to what's coming up in this year's draft with Luka and Bailey and Harper and a few other cats. So we might see this switcheroo happen again. And if we do, don't be surprised, because we know it's a business. And that's what I'm trying to relate. We cannot forget that this whole thing about the NBA is a business. And they're trying to put faces in places that can fill the spaces. You feel me, Flight?
Please subscribe to Flight Sports TV, hit the like button, and leave a comment.
So let's not forget that. We don't have history have proven time immemorial that the NBA will do a switcheroo and call it prixie dust. So Cooper Flag, don't be shocked if you happen to be in Dallas. Don't be shocked if you happen to be in Utah. Do not be shocked. But what I will tell you, I don't see Cooper Flag going nowhere near Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't see that. It's too much of a mess down there. And just like Wemby, they're not going to send a player that they have so much invested in as to carry the league into that mess in Charlotte. Could I be honest? Will y'all get upset at me if I be honest? Do it look like LaMelo's having fun?
Who having fun?
LaMelo Ball.
Man, that's a tough question, Dax. Are we being real or we being?
I'm being brutally honest. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a professional. He has a job to do. They're paying him an exorbitant amount of money to carry out the task. But I don't think he's enjoying himself. I think he's conflicted. I think there's information coming on both sides of his ear, and it's diametrically opposed to each other.
I think they're gonna try to move him, Dax. They already threw him. San Antonio called this summer. I mean, not this summer, like a few months ago.
Yeah, but they got Darion Fox, so that's a dead deal.
Yeah. So I think.
Yeah, that's before Darion Fox. You follow what I'm saying? That was before Darion Fox. So they got Darion, so they have another young stud down there with Wemby.
What they're gonna do with Bridges, like I said, Bridges he playing excellent, man. You could use him as a centerpiece in a big deal. I just think Bridges' trade value is through the roof right now.
Bridges can go to New Orleans. It's a spot open for him.
You save him for Zion.
No. You not for Zion. His money don't even match as far as that. But Brandon Ingram is gone, so there's a space there. Now, some people believe that space is for Trey Murphy III. I don't know. You ain't finna pay no Trey Murphy III, and you only got 15 wins or something similar to that. You understand what I'm saying? So you can pay a Miles Bridges that Brandon Ingram money because Miles Bridges is a veteran. And he's a proven commodity that he can get you 20 points a night if it's designed that way. So you got two hammers. You got Zion on one side, and Miles can go back to playing small forward, which he should be playing. And you got Zion on the other side. Now, Zion and Miles Bridges do not bump heads because Zion wants everything in the gut of the court where his basket lies. He wants to rip up the restricted area. Miles Bridges can play from a distance and be somewhat successful. And Miles Bridges, from time to time, also can slash and rip up the restricted area. So you got two components, Flight, that act like scissors, and they both cutting from the opposite side till they get to the bucket. And that could grind down any team for 48 minutes. So the New Orleans Pelicans have a center, Messi, or whatever his name is. I don't know if they're going to move forward with him for the duration of his career. But the New Orleans Pelicans, like the Bulls, hear me out, because I don't want no confusion. I don't want no misconceptions. And I don't want no one to misconstrue what I'm about to say. So hear me out and be fair with it. The New Orleans Pelicans, somewhat like the Bulls, have a plethora of young talent waiting in the wings to blossom somewhere else. Under Willie Green, if they keep Willie Green, under Willie Green, these players are going to be subjected to sparsely playing night in and night out. I'm not going to name all the players, but some of y'all know who I'm talking about. Some of them start, some of them come off the bench. The New Orleans Pelicans need an overhaul, but it's difficult for people to go down to New Orleans to play because they don't take basketball as a priority. Soon as the LSU game come on, that's it. You asked out. Soon as the Saint game come on, that's it. You asked out. So the priority's not there. So that means the money that's available, they not itching to shoo it out. Because New Orleans Pelicans looking for a splash. I think the New Orleans Pelicans got spoiled with the Zion Williamson Lonzo Ball splash. They got spoiled. And they tried to undermine the value of Lonzo Ball with Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. That it caused a rift in the locker room. Where Lonzo made up his mind, as well as Rich Paul, we out. They tried a qualifying offer to Lonzo. It was despicable. And some New Orleans Pelican fan base said good riddance to Lonzo, not realizing how much he was a glue to that organization. So they can repair some of this because there's no way the New Orleans Pelicans should be this bad with Zion. No way. So some of this can be repaired. But they got to look at Miles Bridges like a hard 8. You know when you go to Vegas and you bet a hard 8, the odds on your money is greater. So David Griffin, if you're not the snake oil salesman that most third eye people see you to be, then you need to take a hard look over there at the Charlotte Hornets at 0. Miles Bridges, and see if you compare him with Zion. See if you could pair him with CJ. See if you could pair him with Not On Her. And then some of the other pieces, because you're not going to give Trey Murphy Brandon Ingram's money. You're not going to do that. Nobody takes you as a fool. We know that you slick over there, David Griffin, but nobody takes you as a fool. We believe that you're very astute when it comes to money and roster construction to some degree. So you're not going to give Trey Murphy III Brandon Ingram's money. So that money is hanging in the balance, waiting for Miles Bridges to take a portion of it. Because even Miles Bridges is not going to get all of it because Brandon Ingram was most improved player and an all-star. Miles Bridges don't carry those accolades. But he can get a nice chunk of that money, more so than Trey Murphy III. Like,
this is Holly Heat of the Hot Seat with Holly Heat, and this is Flight Sports TV.
Please subscribe to Flight Sports TV, hit the like button, and leave a comment.
so that's some of my ranting, observation, and perspective on the NBA hardwood coming this offseason. Because as we wind down on the last leg of the NBA season, teams are starting to juggle their forecasting of their foreseen roster coming in the upcoming season. So the teams that are mathematically eliminated, they get first dibs. And there you have it until we see you again. Thank everybody for chiming in, hanging out with Flight Sports TV, all you late night riders and those who dancing in the shadows. Peace to you, and we're out.
Flight Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.